You ever check your bank account a few days before payday and already know what you're going to see? You open the app anyway. You stare at the number. Maybe it's lower than you expected. Maybe it's exactly what you feared. And then your brain starts doing that quiet math. Rent is coming, groceries, that subscription you forgot about, the credit card minimum. You tell yourself, once I make a little more, this won't feel so tight. But somehow, even when the income goes up, the feeling doesn't always leave. If you've ever felt like you're running on a treadmill that speeds up every time you do, this isn't about you being irresponsible. And it's not about you not working hard enough. Most people living paycheck to paycheck are not lazy. They're tired, they're trying, and they're caught inside a system that quietly trains them to spend exactly what they earn. We're told that the solution is simple: make more money. And yes, income matters. But income alone doesn't fix the psychology of living at zero. I've seen people earn $35,000 a year and feel stable. I've seen people earn $120,000 and feel constantly behind. The real issue isn't always how much comes in. It's how our money flows and how our brains react to that flow. When you live paycheck to paycheck, it usually isn't because you don't care about your future. It's because every dollar already has a job before you even get paid. The money lands in your account and instantly gets claimed. Bills, debts, automatic payments, food, gas. There's no pause, no buffer, no breathing room. And psychologically, that does something to you. When there's no margin, your brain stays in survival mode. You think short term. You solve immediate problems. You swipe now and promise yourself you'll figure it out later. That's not weakness. That's how humans are wired under pressure. We like to believe we're rational with money, but most of our decisions are emotional and reactive. If you feel stressed every time you look at your balance, you're more likely to avoid looking at it. If you feel deprived, you're more likely to justify a small reward. It's just $20. I deserve this. Individually, those moments don't seem dangerous, but collectively, they keep you at zero. There's also lifestyle creep, and it's subtle. You get a small raise, you upgrade your phone, you move into a slightly nicer place, you start ordering food a little more often because you're tired. None of these are reckless decisions. They feel reasonable. You worked for it, but your fixed expenses quietly rise to match your new income. And suddenly, you're earning more, but still ending the month the same way. Here's the part most people misunderstand. The goal isn't to restrict your life. It's to create margin. Margin is the space between what you earn and what you must spend. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting, but it's powerful. Even a small margin changes how your brain feels about money. If you earn $3,000 a month and spend $2,950, you are technically not in debt, but emotionally, you're still on edge. One car repair, one medical bill, one unexpected expense, and the whole thing collapses. The turning point isn't doubling your income. It's interrupting the automatic flow that sends you back to zero. That might mean something unsexy. Lowering one fixed cost, delaying one upgrade, choosing stability over status. I know that's not the message social media likes to promote. Everywhere you look, people are showcasing better apartments, newer cars, expensive dinners, and comparison quietly pressures you to match it. But financial peace rarely looks impressive from the outside. One of the simplest shifts is this: stop budgeting like someone who has extra and start planning like someone who values security. Instead of asking, "What can I afford this month?" ask, "What would make next month less stressful?" That question changes everything. Maybe it means building a tiny buffer. Not 3 months of expenses overnight, just $500 that sits untouched. That $500 doesn't just protect you financially, it protects your nervous system. It reduces the panic response when something goes wrong. Or maybe it means restructuring how your money moves. When your paycheck hits, what if a small portion left immediately for savings before you even see it? Not a huge amount, just enough to build the habit of paying your future self first. Because if you wait until the end of the month to save, there's usually nothing left. There's also the reality of fixed expenses. Rent, car payments, insurance, these are the anchors. If they're too heavy, you will always feel underwater. And this is where hard conversations sometimes happen. Can you live slightly below what you're approved for? Can you drive something practical for a little longer? Can you share space temporarily to create breathing room? None of that sounds glamorous, but glamour doesn't eliminate stress. Margin does. And here's something people don't talk about enough. Consistency matters more than intensity. You don't need a radical 3-0-day reset. You need steady, boring progress. Cutting $200 in recurring expenses can be more powerful long-term than chasing a risky side hustle that burns you out. Compound interest is often discussed in investing, but compound stability is just as real. When you consistently keep even a small surplus, that surplus grows. First, it becomes a buffer, then it becomes options. Then it becomes confidence, and confidence changes how you make decisions. When you're not desperate for the next paycheck, you negotiate differently at work. You say no to things that drain you. You think longer term. That's the real freedom most people are chasing, even if they call it more money. Practical application doesn't mean extreme sacrifice. It means clarity. Track your fixed costs honestly, not to judge yourself, just to see the truth. Separate needs from upgrades. Give every dollar an intentional role, and most importantly, protect a small gap between income and spending like it's sacred, even if it's only $100 at first, because the goal isn't perfection, it's distance from zero. And if you're listening to this thinking, you don't understand, my expenses are high, I want you to hear this gently. The system is expensive. Housing is expensive. Food is expensive. Healthcare is expensive. Feeling squeezed is not a personal failure. But within that system, small decisions still compound. You don't have to solve everything this year. You just have to move slightly away from the edge. There's something incredibly calming about knowing that if payday were delayed by a week, you'd be okay. That calm isn't loud. It doesn't show up on Instagram, but it feels powerful when you're lying in bed at night and your mind isn't racing. Stopping the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle isn't about becoming rich. It's about becoming stable. It's about reclaiming a sense of control over your own timeline. And that starts quietly, with one small buffer, one intentional choice. 1 month where you end slightly above zero instead of exactly at it. Progress rarely feels dramatic. It feels subtle. But subtle progress, repeated, builds real security. You don't need a bigger income to begin. You need a little margin. And margin starts with awareness, not shame. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just closer to the edge than you deserve to be. And inch by inch, you can step back.